It's a morning Best Ball Mania draft. Usually we're doing these in the afternoon. Today it's the morning. I only have 7 Best Ball Manias left. So this is one of the final 7. Let's do this thing. We are sitting in the 104 for this morning's Best Ball Mania. We got Marshall in chat. My body is ready. My body's not yet. Didn't exercise yet today. I will be after this. Got to get that in. Got to wait. It always wakes me up. Like that's the thing that gets me going, because I'm not a caffeine drinker, as a lot of you guys know. A lot of badges in this draft. That's a little bit scary. What's up, Victor? Good to see you. We will go Tyreek Hill at the 104. It's an easy click. Jaquan, oh baby, an early draft this morning. Yeah, we got an early one. I got some shows that I have to do this afternoon. Didn't know if I was going to be able to get this in, so figured I'd do it this morning. We will have one tomorrow, and I'm trying to finish things off because I'm going to be away for the weekend for Labor Day. I'm going to be local, but away. I want to get my 150th Best Ball Mania on Thursday. I want to get it in, and I want you guys to all be part of that, because I think that's really the I'm trying to check and see what I'm at right now. 140. This is 144 right here. This is the 144th Best Ball Mania draft. But yeah, I want you guys to be a part of 150, because I feel like that's the official point of me becoming a Best Ball bro, is the 150th BBM draft. Heat wave in Chicago. Is that true? That sucks. Sorry to hear that, Bethany. Love bringing in personal traits in your bold takes, i.e. backing anyone who eats banana peels. Yeah, look. Will Levis eats banana peels, but I have a lot of Will Levis bags this year. Chris says, go ahead and draft the second place team. Are you in this one? Or just in general, you're saying? Paikwan is Najee fan number 1, just FYI. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Najee won in the Millie on DK 2 years ago. That makes sense then. My brother's girlfriend made me and my brother watch Saltburn last night. I'm still trying to figure out what is Saltburn? I don't know anything about Saltburn. Should I Google this? It's a movie. Troubled by his classmates' unfortunate living situation, wealthy Oxford student Felix invites Oliver to stay at his estate. Oh, is this the No, I don't know anything about this movie. Feels like 105 in Chicago right now. It's like really tame in Charlotte today. Like, I was dropping my daughter off at the bus stop, and it was like in the mid 60s. What's going on, David? All right, so we got Tyreek Hill. Let's go Cooper Kupp. Chris Olave has been falling a lot. I have a good amount of Olave too. Kupp's been going a little bit earlier than this. This is the pretty heavy badge draft, at least in the front half. It's basically the Talented Mr. Ripley as a miniseries. Got it. Honestly, my television watching these days with 2 small children is mindless TV at night. If we're watching TV, just mindless stuff. I think once the kids get a little bit older, I'll have more brain capacity to consume stuff that's a little bit deeper. 50 and rainy here in Seattle. Isn't that what it is every single day, all the time in Seattle? All right, I'm back on the clock. We'll go Mike Evans probably. We'll go Evans. I do have to open this document up. Make sure I have the playoff schedule in front of me. I still haven't memorized week 15 and 16. Just for the record. This is a very geriatric wide receiver room so far. I finally signed CD to a team-friendly deal. Now that's how you negotiate. Oh, look, it's Commissioner Jerry Jones. Yeah, marathon training in that kind of heat would be tough. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Don't bet on that, JJ. You won't have time still as they get older. I know. Honestly, a lot of it is I just get to the point where I only want to watch trash TV. Any teams you're keeping more of an eye on with roster cuts today? I want to see what the Texans do with the backfield and if they keep Dameon Pierce. I think that's still up in the air kind of thing because he just doesn't. Cam Akers showed up. Pierce doesn't fit the scheme all that well. So we'll see what happens with him. Because if he gets cut, I mean, my goodness. I just checked and my like button works. Everybody else should check. Yeah, Chris, that's a good idea. You guys should make sure that your like button works. Go try it out on this video. And then see if your subscribe button works too. P. Ryan blow up Cincy if released. I don't know if he blows up Cincy. But yeah, it's not a good thing for the Cincy backs. I think that we all should be open to that. It's also like, man, I was really high on Chase Brown. I still am high on Chase Brown, but there's been people who are just taking it so far, right? Like, it's really important with my rankings in particular to look at how I have tiers set up. Like, I've had Chase Brown and Zach Moss in the same tier. I just jumped Brown over Moss in the rankings. But, there have been times where, and I think Chase Brown's a little bit easier to draft in a best ball environment, but there have been some drafts and some takes around Brown that have just been wild. So I'm trying not to go that far with things. Shocking. I'm trying to be level-headed with the analysis. Cam Akers rose from the dead to spam the spin button. Yeah. That's true, Rich. How close are you to maxing entries? This is Best Ball Mania 144. So 6 more after this. I'm going to try to do a couple tonight and then get a lot tomorrow. And then I really would like to live stream the final one on Thursday because I'm going to be away this weekend. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to draft. I'm fine with ending it, a little bit early. I mean, it's already at like 90% filled, so it's getting there. All right. What are we looking at here? I kind of want to go Josh Jacobs if he's there because of this Marshawn Lloyd thing. I also don't have, number one player that I'm scared of most in BBM is Josh Jacobs because I don't have enough of him. And this Marshawn Lloyd injury happens, and now he's officially placed on PUP. It's a little scary. I could have gone Cooper to pair with Tyreek Hill. That's going to be a common one for people, of course. I've done that plenty. We're at the stage where we're just trying to mix things up and get enough exposure here. Great spot on the Harris Football Pod yesterday, by the way. Thanks, Jaquan. I think there's some people clicking a lot of Pierce, but I'm not so sure Akers isn't better than him. Yeah, I don't think that it's I don't think it's a lock at all. I think Akers has looked really good. I just got Jefferson at the 10 and a mini schnauzer, Chase at 9. Weird room this morning. I'm also finally, the faster clocks and slow drafts has been difficult too because I max entered the mini schnauzer just to kind of get some action. And my drafts are horrible there because I've gotten to the point where I can't, my attention span for slow drafts is so bad right now. It's just horrible. A lot of good wide receivers that I'll be able to choose from. So I'm kind of happy that I went the Jacobs route there. Like if I get Amari, that'd be awesome. If I don't and I get McLaurin, who I'm now higher on based on the Dotson stuff, I don't think they're going to make a move. I mean, they could still get Ayuk, of course. Could even go Worthy here. I mean, I'm thinking I'm going McLaurin and just add to this geriatric room. Let's go McLaurin. McLaurin over Pickens, I think that's fair. We're just going old wide receivers. We're going old players. This team would have been great in 2020, 2021. Nothing wrong with that, though. You just kind of balance it out with some younger guys later. Akers is scary until he does something shady to anger the franchise and becomes the dead to the team. I don't know what went down with the Rams and such, but you know, Cam Akers he's an easy guy to root for. Anytime a guy gets hurt the way that he's been hurt, you know, multiple torn Achilles is wild. The fact that he's back is crazy. Like the mental strength to be able to come back from that is absolutely nuts. Like anyone watching this stream, me, myself, we would go out for a run. We hurt our knee, just tweak it. And we're like, oh, I'm not going to run for another 3 months. And then that turns into, oh, I don't really need to run. I can just walk or ride the Peloton or not even do cardio. This dude is just back off of multiple torn Achilles. It's crazy. What is the Davis Maddox star method? I don't know about his star method. What was Pickens doing last year compared to this year? I don't think he's a bad pick as everyone else thinks, considering his spike week upside, even with low volume. I don't know what that first part means. I don't know. I have a hard time clicking his name when there's some pretty decent volume-based wideouts around him. I think that Washington's going to run a lot of plays too, just based on what Cliff has done in the past. And now McLaurin's target share is even more locked up. But no, I mean, like, this is like a 55-45 thing for me. With the age of this team, put Dalvin Cook in the queue. Yeah, I should. Mental strength of Dobbins. That's another one. Like Dobbins is wild. Like that's some Goggins stuff right there, right? The dude just keeps getting hurt and he's like, no, I got to be on the football field. Like I have to come back from this. It's insane. It's admirable. I forgot to turn on my fan again. I'm going to get hot during this. He stars all his potential stacks, gets distracted, and times out. Oh, and gets Goddard in the 5th. Yeah, I will start players in slow drafts, and I accidentally drafted Bo Nix in like the 13th round by doing that. But I typically don't just because of that aspect of things. But I tend to make decisions. You guys have seen me draft. I make decisions fairly quick. We could look at Rachaad White next with Mike Evans. I don't mind going Deontay's way. Could also think about Christian Watson to pair with Josh Jacobs a little bit. NFL players just love to play ball. Also requires a lot of mental strength as well. Yeah. That's why it drives me nuts when people like side with the owners and stuff and negotiate. Like these dudes are not only putting their body on the line, but they work so insanely hard. Just so insanely hard. Man, I don't know if I can deal with a Rachaad White and Josh Jacobs team. I kind of like the idea of going with Watson and Jacobs and then kind of going with a Packers stack. All right, that made it easier. I don't have a ton of Christian Watson, so it's good to get a little pairing there. Yeah, dangerous when you're flagging Kirk Cousins to draft way later. Yeah, exactly. Any tips for guillotine leagues? Yeah, don't spend early on in the season. Just think about basic probability and math, right? If there's 17 teams in your league, what is it? 17 teams? Then that means that you have a 16 out of 17 chance to do well week 1. You have a 15 out of 16 chance to do well in week 2 and to move on, right? Those are very, very high odds. Generally, the teams that aren't going to move on are teams that obviously had bad drafts, but like did things like drafting a quarterback way too early, which don't draft a quarterback early in guillotine leagues. Or they had like an injury and it's just bad luck in that instance. So I would focus on spending later and being the bully, being the fob bully. It's important. All right, I'm almost on the clock. JSN's at the top of my board right now. I'm not going to go CJ Stroud. Oh, we could go James Conner and just keep the age up here for this team. James Conner with Cooper Kupp. All right, since JSN went, I think we go James Conner, pair him with Cooper Kupp for week 17. This is an old AF team. My gosh. I'm gonna label this team in my BBMs as just old AF and then grade it after that. I'm not super high on Stevenson. I feel like I'm on an island with the take of not being high on Ramondre Stevenson this year. I have way more Antonio Gibson than I do Ramondre. Got a meeting conversation in my right ear. I hope I'm in the left ear. Mercedes Lewis in round 18. Oh man, that's funny. The James Conner rise in ADP has been kind of interesting because he was going in like the next round for much of the summer, and now he's more of like that. He's like closer to Kamara, which is weird because I tend to go towards Kamara a lot more. I don't think anyone loves Ramondre this year. I don't know. Some of the folks that I've talked to on shows and stuff seem to be pretty high on him. Maybe there's just a very split consensus. I know that Denny Carter, happy birthday, Denny, for the record. I know Denny likes him. Didn't JJ give a good outlook on Ramondre in his 15? No, it was I don't think I talked about Ramondre in the bold predictions. Are you concerned about Saquon this year, that he's just fallen off? I saw Jacob Gibbs tweeting about his elusiveness stats not being good last 3 years. I'm not overly concerned about many rushing metrics in general. They're not that sticky. Saquon's been a real. They're often situation based. James Conner isn't bad. He just always gets hurt. Yeah, 100%. But in best ball, I'm not really that I mean, of course, I'm concerned about injury. I want him to play every week, and hopefully he's healthy during the playoffs, during the best ball playoffs. But if he misses 3 or 4 games, but he is a bell cow, that's not the biggest deal in the world. If those 3 or 4 games are like early in the season or like mid-season. Are you concerned about? Oh no, I already read that one. Yeah, you got Conner in the hundreds. Yeah, it's weird that he's risen a little bit. I haven't gotten him that frequently. He fit this build because I'm only drafting old guys. Just kidding. He fits this build though. I think Jordan Love is the next target. We could go Addison, and let me see what these teams did. They don't have a quarterback, but they also don't have. So they have a quarterback here. Where did Jaden Reed go? Jaden Reed went over here. And they just picked Courtland Sutton. I might push it. If Jordan Addison's available, I might go Addison and push Jordan Love. But you do run the risk. You do run the risk a little bit. I'm kind of hoping that someone just takes Addison because you do run the risk a little bit that a team is going to take Love and then get Dobbs or Dontavian Wicks. Yeah, there's too many quarterbacks going right now. Kind of scaring me. I don't want to put. Okay, someone took Addison. I don't need to push it now. I don't need to push it. You guys are so bad. You guys are bad influences on me in chat, telling me to push it. I know it makes for better content though. AD Mitchell starting to look like a value. I've bought in more into AD Mitchell. With that being said, I think that him playing in the slot, he's going to play in 2 wide sets. I don't think that should have ever been really in question because Alec Pierce is terrible. And Josh Downs has been a slot guy. Like, this is the way that it was going to be. I don't know if I want to force it with Dobbs in the next round. I'd rather get one of these backs or tight ends. Actually, Njoku would be a really fun pick next with Tyreek Hill. Mark Andrews, the injury doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But yeah, the AD Mitchell stuff, he's been running in the slot without Josh Downs there, which I think is pretty interesting because he didn't really play that role in college. But I think a lot of guys can play in the slot. But when Josh Downs comes back, which is going to probably be early in the season, I have my concerns to some degree about AD Mitchell. I just think he was a very volatile prospect. And I actually think that people are too bullish on the Indianapolis passing attack. I'll be honest. One of the guys that might just destroy my BBM teams this year is Anthony Richardson. I don't have I'm at probably like 3 or 4% Anthony Richardson. I have way more like Kyler. Like I've just opted to go that route as opposed to going Anthony Richardson. Because look, I know he had those really good splits last year. Richardson did, but he was a part of 100% of the team's touchdowns in his 2 healthy games last year. That's not going to happen. Jonathan Taylor's going to score. Things are going to happen, and I don't trust Anthony Richardson that much as a passer, to the point where like I don't see why the market throughout the summer and even now to some degree has been so much more bullish on Anthony Richardson than Kyler Murray. It just doesn't make any sense to me. My favorite Week 17 game is Indianapolis and the Giants this year. I'll be honest, and this might be something that I learned this year because this is the first year that I'm really, really doing high volume. This is draft. I'm over 500 drafts post draft. I did, about 100 pre NFL drafts. So, I've drafted probably like 600. I'll probably be around that mark by the end of the year and by the end of draft season. And then obviously I play in a ton of season long, but I'm just talking best ball here. But maybe, I one of the things that I haven't done is say, I specifically really like this Week 17 game as opposed to, and there are some games that I just naturally have stacked more because I like the values of the individual players, right? So like, I really like Tennessee's offense versus the market. And so I have a ton of Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd, honestly. I have a lot of those players. And so naturally I have a lot of Jacksonville players. And I actually like Jacksonville too, but that's just kind of how I've approached it, is about the team itself, as opposed to like, I really like this Week 17 matchup between these two teams. The running back games with Anthony Richardson were Deion Jackson and Zach Moss. Yeah. I mean, that's part of it, but it's also just like in a 2-game sample, we can see some crazy things. I've grown more and more. I've gotten the belief more and more that I think Anthony Richardson is just kind of overvalued. Just based on not positionally and where he's at in the position. I think he's being drafted where he should probably be drafted at within the position. But when you can get some, especially in best ball, like pocket passers aren't necessarily significantly worse in best ball versus what they are in season long, because you get the predictability in season long of the rushing production. You don't need that as much in best ball just because, let me see if, real quick. Okay, he's gone. Dontavian Wicks left. The predictability aspect with the rushing is what's really important for season long quarterbacks. It's good in best ball too, but it's rushing for quarterbacks is a floor thing, not a ceiling thing. Kind of want to go Blake Corum. This feels like a Matthew Stafford team potentially. Dowdle's fine, but I have 2 good enough anchors at running back. Could go Goddard, but I'm not really like super hyped to go that direction. I like going Corum here. Like I think if I was going more 0 RB, I would go Rico over Corum, but I can afford the early season hit if it is, if there's not as much wear and tear with like Kyren Williams. I can afford that more with Jacobs and Connor on my team. I have a lot of Blake Corum, I'm not going to lie. Have you thought about what is the benchmark of success this year? Is it win it all or number of finals reach, etc.? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just trying to see what this inaugural high volume season is like and then kind of go from there. Best Ball Mania is really, really hard. Like it's hard to even have a team in the finals. So, if I get a team in the finals, I think that's a W, but there's a lot of variance and some luck involved, in getting there. What I want to make sure is that like consistently my teams are doing pretty well, like objectively well and better than the market and plus EV and all that kind of stuff. Do you think people flip Spear here? I'll get to that in a second. What's up, Beefcake? I'll get to that in a second. I just want to see. I mean, I'll get Dowdle next if he's there. But Dalvin Cook's coming. I mean, this team might go wide receiver with. Yeah, we'll go Dowdle next. So that worked out well, just based on. I mean, it was a little bit of luck that people just didn't like Dowdle, and they went super wide receiver heavy here. But I went wide receiver heavy enough to start that I could do that. Do you think people will flip Spears and Pollard in drafts because they keep hearing Spears talked up as a value? Just seems like it nukes any value with Spears to take him over Pollard. Look, yeah, I've had them back to back in my rankings, literally back to back all summer, like in the same tier, because they've openly said they're interchangeable. The Titans have openly said that. I don't have a strong take of take Spears over Pollard. I think I'm 51-49 Spears over Pollard only because Spears is a second-year player. There's a lot of upside. You know, Pollard had the season he had last year, which wasn't as bad as people think. But Pollard had the season he had last year. He's older from just a year in the league standpoint. Those kinds of things do favor the younger guy more than the older guy. But I have Pollard. I think I'm at like 13% Pollard and 19% Spears. Like I have a lot of Pollard across my best ball exposure. Speak on Juju to the Chiefs. I think that it just makes them a little bit deeper at wide receiver. It would be crazy if they play Juju over like a Rashee Rice in the slot. Seems not bad. I'm going to star Stafford. I also kind of want to get Hawk to get a Minnesota run back. We can also look at Ty Chandler. I have so much Jaleel McLaughlin, man. Did Ty Chandler go? Did I miss that? Yeah, wow. Okay. That's all right. Is your top 200 rankings and tiers in the guide more best ball focus? No, it's season long. That's completely season long. Anything in my guide other than like the underdog take section is season long. The best ball stuff, you can download a CSV on my Patreon and upload it. I don't think I uploaded the latest version, but I will this week. You know, with best ball though, you're really playing ADP even more, in my opinion, than you are, because you're gonna do a little bit more best ball. Do more best ball drafts and such. All right. It would be nice to get Hawkinson here. I mean, what is going on here? You get Lamar, Dak, and Purdy. All right, we're going to get Hawkinson. That's a bring back in week 17 with Green Bay. With Njoku and Hawkinson, I'm probably going to get around 18 tight end. It's just a comfort thing for me. Maybe you guys feel different. Next, I have to try to get Stafford. It'd be nice. I'm worried about this. I mean, there's no Rams, but there's no quarterback either in these two teams, or on this team right here. Yeah, no Rams there. Two quarterbacks already. I mean, they could try to go with like a Stafford Downs, but I think a lot of people just view Stafford as just another pocket passer, not necessarily having to force it. I love Jaleel McLaughlin's. I've loved it all offseason. I have so much McLaughlin. I think he's going to rise a little bit with the Pirine news, but that was news that we knew like 3 months ago. Has your opinion on Freiermuth changed since preseason usage? Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to have an update to the draft guide about that. That's going to be something that could ruin me too. I have he's my highest roster tight end in BBM just because of like what I saw as like a floor for a 2 tight end build where you get like, an Njoku type or something like that. Oh man, a couple quarterbacks going. All right, that worked out. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there's some concern there. Is he gonna, drop off the face of the earth? And do I think preseason usage is everything? No. In my opinion. Teams try stuff out in the preseason, man. How many home leagues are you in? I guess like 5. Like home leagues, but none of them are like all of them are relatively sharp. So it's not I'm not in any like ridiculous, just have like a loaded roster no matter what leagues. Who's your favorite round 18 tight end? I kind of go everywhere. I think this is a team that could get Parkinson in the 17th to pair with Stafford, or Tucker Kraft is another good one for this. Like if Musgrave falls, sure, I'll go that direction, but I don't think that's going to happen. Also want to still build up the rest of the rooms here. I don't mind this team. I mean, it's kind of unsexy, but it's built properly, I think. Which I'd rather that be the case than just having this team that everyone's just like salivating over because it's got the next big thing on it. This is probably a team though that'll like do really well in the front half of the season, then just die off. Yeah, same thing with Musgrave and Kraft. Like I like Musgrave more than Kraft. I think he's a better player. He was a better prospect, but that's the problem is like I liked Kraft as a prospect. I liked Musgrave more, right? I joined late. How many BBMs do you have left? This is 144 right here. Can't shake the idea Jonnu should be in the Goddard tier. I have a lot of Jonnu. I don't think he should be in the Goddard tier, but I definitely have a lot of Jonnu. Malik Washington is one that I might even get in this draft. I've been trying to get more and more Malik. Had an interesting Arizona, Tampa Bay, Carolina bill with Kyler, but couldn't have the quarterbacks because they were all bye week 11. Ever give up a week to the bye? Only a tight end. I try not to do it at quarterback. Just because you're missing out on a potential like 20 to 25 points that week. Tight end, you might only be missing out on 5 to 10. I know that there's been some research done on this that I have not done, but that's my general take. That's my sort of feel-based take. All right, next round, we're looking at wide receiver or running back. Just going to pound those positions. I mean, if we get a guy like Bucky, we might be able to be done at running back and then just go really hard at wide receiver. And he pairs up nicely with Mike Evans. I still like Antonio Gibson a good bit. Definitely not getting Marshawn Lloyd. After you get past Marshawn Lloyd, it's like Kamani Vidal and then, I just Tyron Tracy and then a lot of question marks. So yeah, we'll get tight end in the 17th or 18th. Just because of the Hawkinson stuff early on. All right, there goes Bucky. Mario Douglas. Oh, we can go Jalen McMillan. Start a little Tampa Bay. I'm probably gonna go Demario Douglas over McMillan, but either one of them is fine in this next pick. I don't know though. I have 5 relatively, 4 definitely decent wideouts. Maybe we go McMillan and just go for that upside a little bit more because Douglas is more of the floor. Let's go McMillan. Pair him with Mike Evans. I really like Jalen McMillan as a player too. If you guys read my prospect guide, Gibson would be next. I think if I don't get Gibson, it's probably a 6 running back build with 8 or with I guess 7 wide receivers. I don't know. I can be talked either way. There goes Gibson. Okay. Maybe Douglas falls again. We're kind of in this weird, not many obvious go-tos. Greg Dortch would actually fit this build real well. Hopefully you get one of these 2 wideouts. Hopefully you get Greg Dortch right as Demario Douglas gets drafted. Could go Demarcus Robinson too. I think Kupp is enough. And I could even get Whittington later if I wanted to. I think Dortch is just a better play than Robinson. So I'd rather go that direction. But If I can get one of these two, I'm cool with it. Okay, we'll get Dortch. It's a decent wide receiver room. Yeah, I've seen Demario Douglas fall too. I don't really get it. Like, I think that he's the favorite to lead that team in targets. I like Jalen Polk more just because of the verticality, the ambiguous upside of him being a rookie. We don't really know what he's all about. But Douglas was really good as a rookie. I like Demario Douglas. All right. I doubt we get Demarcus Robinson. I'll leave him up there, I guess. We need more running backs. We need some bodies there, and then we need a tight end. So I think the move is probably 2 running backs and a tight end and leave this wide receiver room as is. We already have our stacks. We even have bringbacks. I don't have a ton of green. It's only Christian Watson and Josh Jacobs. That's what happens sometimes with Green Bay. They go earlier, but we'll try to get Tucker Kraft. I think Kraft probably fits us a little bit better than Parkinson. Oh, Allen Robinson just got released, says Bethany. All right. I'll reach a little bit for Kraft. I'll get him in the 17th. Hopefully he'd be there. You get him in the 18th usually. I saw the Giants also released Isaiah Hodgins. All right, we're going either Tyron Tracy or Kamani Vidal next. Hopefully. That'd be nice. Five. All right, there's some teams that could go running back. This one, I mean, they went heavy running back early. Every team is a Jonnu Ertz team. I don't have enough Zach Ertz. I also don't have much Ben Sinnott. Just hasn't been a target for me. There goes Vidal. It's technically Vidal for the record. If you go listen to an interview he did, he says his name. Kamani Vidal is what he says. Man, Tyron Tracy's just like the obvious pick for this build right now. But I'm probably going to have to dig deeper if I don't get Tracy. Get like an Estime. Haven't really been buying Justice Hill or Dameon Pierce. The Pierce thing, how much Bo Nix do you have? Oh my God, there he goes. I mean, I think we got to just take a chance on Estime. Or we take a chance on Pierce and hope that he gets cut. Do you think Devon Vele is draftable? Not really. He's like a 27-year-old rookie. I mean, more power to him. I hope he does well. It's a tough sell for me. All right, we'll go Estime. We got more confirmation that P. Ryan's not going to be there. He'll be the 3, but they'll probably give him some run, especially he could be a late in the year kind of guy. Trying to balance the Jacobs Connor maybe not being all that early on in the season. No, I'm going to go one more running back. Shipley can work, but I want to force it a little bit with Tucker Kraft. Make sure we lock in that stack. I know that Jonnu's there. Oh my God, Jonnu's just such a good play. I just want the stack. Kind of hope someone just drafts Jonnu for me, but they won't because they have 2 tight ends. Yeah, I think Dulcich is a reasonable bench on FFPC. All right, we're gonna go Tucker Kraft. It's a good stacking partner. We need that with this particular lineup. Would I have taken him over Jonnu in any other environment? No. And you could have even argued Jonnu just because of the Tyreek, David Njoku thing, but I think Kraft makes more sense for this build. Now we just get a running back. Yeah, we could go Akers. I don't think I've drafted him in BBM. Jamal Williams as their RB2. Deontay Foreman actually fits this really well. Let's go Foreman if we can. I mean, I don't know. I got Josh Jacobs on this team. Some okay options at running back. We'll go Will Shipley as number 2. I mean, I could even say Eli Mitchell. I know that Jordan Mason's been getting all the love. There's also a low-key chance that Eli Mitchell gets cut. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a chance because they have Isaac Orendo and they like Jordan Mason. What do you guys think of the squad? Knowing that we're going to get a dart throw running back. What would you rate it? I kind of don't mind this. Again, not super sexy, but the build I think is right. You got the right bringbacks. You got some mini stacks in there. Yeah, the Grendo's going to make the team. It's just a matter if they carry 3 or 4. They'll probably end up carrying 4 though. 8.8 out of 10. This might be an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 solid. That's how I feel. It's just a solid team. It's not like a dramatically, you look at it and you're like, oh man, so much flash. But it's got some solid pieces. And I like the up in the air backs that we have behind the veterans there. I think I'm going to go Deontay Foreman if he's there, though, just because he fits with Njoku and Tyreek Hill. Could be the goal line guy. There goes Jonnu. That's a great value in Jonnu. All right, we'll go Foreman and close this out. So to recap, we got Jordan Love and Matthew Stafford. That's a fine pairing. Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Blake Corum, Rico Dowdle, Audric Estime, Deontay Foreman, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, Jalen McMillan, and Greg Dortch. And then David Njoku, TJ Hockenson, and Tucker Kraft at tight end. Jonnu would have made it a 9, but Kraft was better correlated, so it made more sense. Yeah, I get it. I would have probably gone that direction too. Nothing crazy, I don't think, in this draft that I saw, but it was I think things fell relatively well. Like I said, I'll probably give it an 8. I won't be drafting again, Chris, as much as I want to right now. I can't. And then I got a couple shows that I'm doing later this afternoon. Got to get a workout in. That's how I get my mental health in check, man. Everyone should try to do something like that for whatever you can every day for your mentals, man. If I didn't, I'd be going crazy. It feels like, especially with all this work, with it being August during fantasy draft season. So got to get that in real quick. Then I got a show at 1, got another show at 3. Just don't think I'm going to be able to draft another team today on the live stream. What kind of workout, JJ? I'm just going to do a Peloton strength training class. Last Becoming the Best Ball Bro tomorrow. No, the last one I think will end up being, Last Becoming the Best Ball Bro. Yes, that's tomorrow. Rich and I are recording that later today. It'll drop tomorrow. It's just us two, no guests this week. We're going to kind of recap some stuff, and I'll talk about my exposures on that episode in Best Ball Mania. Some of the players that I'm high on and guys who might ruin my season in Best Ball Mania. So I'll talk through all of that. Plug the Peloton model you use. I still have the basic Peloton from like way back, right? So it's not even the problem with the Peloton strength stuff though, is that it's more like hit cardio. Like I'm not going to get big from it. But I can definitely feel a difference. I've been doing it pretty consistently, or at least more consistently, because I wasn't a huge strength training bro until, I listen to a lot of like Peter Attia is one that I adore. And he's very into the importance of resistance training and stuff. So I've tried to get that into my workouts now a few times a week. So I'll just do that after this, and then I still ride the Peloton though, just not as much. Not nearly as much. I'm actually pretty weak at Peloton right now because I took some time off, especially when I was doing my half earlier in the year when I was training for that. So got to get back on that during football season and get those quads back. Peter Attia, man, he's like the easiest go-to doctor to call out because he's not a scam artist, which is what you'll find at times, in my opinion, with some of those guys. So Tia is good. What shows today? I'm going on Ed Fang's show at 1. So that'll then be out after that. I don't know if it's going out tomorrow or when, but Dr. Ed Fang, really smart sports bettor. You guys should definitely check that out. I'll retweet it whenever he drops that. Going to talk about sort of my processes, talk about the draft guide a little bit. It's not just like a players to target kind of episode that you'll see, within the fantasy space and when I do guest spots there. And then I'm becoming a best ball bro later today. And then tonight on the Patreon, the Late Round Fantasy Football Patreon, if you guys are interested, I'll be doing a season-long draft where people can follow along and I talk through. I mean, it's a league that I'm actually going to be managing. So you can follow along and see, I'm going to talk through my logic and what I'm thinking as the draft goes on. That is via Patreon. So there will be a live stream link, which I need to post. I realize I don't think I posted it yet. There will be a live stream link for you to watch that. And you can watch that afterwards too, if you guys are interested in my thought process as I'm actually drafting, not a best ball draft, but a managed season-long draft. But thanks everyone, as always, for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Thursday as well. I ideally want to wrap up Best Ball Mania on Thursday and do the last draft, even if it's a back-to-back draft. I want to get them all done on the live stream. I want you guys to be there with me as I conclude the summer of becoming a best ball bro. But otherwise, everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you tomorrow.